everybody. Hi, welcome back. I'm Amy from Amy J's Creations, and this is what I've been working on this past month. I will report right up front that I did not touch every single project on my whips. I have 16 of them. That was the idea, to give everyone about 1 to 2 days, and touch all of them. But some things happened. Beautiful things. So slowed me down a little, but still I touched several projects. I'm super happy. I made a lot of good progress on all of them. I'm absolutely thrilled. I like this new system that I'm trying out this year. Am I going to do it every year? Most likely not. But for this year, it's been really fun to just pick a bunch of projects that I really have been wanting to do and just start them all at once. Because as you know, that is not usually me. So, first thing I worked on was my Haunted Library from Lola. And I got so much progress done on this thing. What I did, the way I attacked it was I have the paper pattern, okay? So I took one page of the pattern and I chose a color and I stitched it everywhere it was on that page because I had enough done, right? The backbone, the skeleton, enough was on there that I could do this. Picked a color, stitched it everywhere it was, flipped to the next page, continue with that same color through all 9 or 10 pages of the pattern. And then went back to the beginning page, picked a new color, stitched that everywhere. This was a really good exercise for me because I found several places where I thought I had stitched something and had missed a stitch here or there, or had completely forgotten to do a whole color. So that was a good way to make sure everything was getting taken care of. I will say, however, that I got kind of sucked into this because it's so dang fun to stitch and I absolutely love the design and I love seeing it come to life, that I was like, I worked on this for like 5 or 6 days when I was supposed to only work for 1 or 2, because I was like, I can get it finished. And finally I realized there is so much still left to do on the staircases that I was like, girl, face reality. Set this aside. You are not going to finish it. And if you do, you won't work on anything else this month. And it's only the second month in the year. And you had goals. So I laid it aside. But, yeah. And they're doing that under the sea stitch along, and I know it's going to be awesome. I loved the Greenhouse of Oddities. I haven't done that one, but I absolutely love it, and it's in the back of my head as one I want to do. But something else happened, which I will get to in a minute, and I can't do the under the sea stitch along this year. But I will eventually, I know, because I love their designs. Oh, so good. All right. So then I decided, well, it's kind of winter. Maybe if I sew on something wintry, we'll get some snow. We didn't. But I still had fun working on it. This is Snowcapped from Little Stitch Girl. This was the retreat pattern from Stitch West October. And that we got. And last time I had just the border, and it met up and I was super happy. So this time I started on that big tree, and as I had some leftover floss and it was out, I just did a few of these other little trees over here. This is the first time I've done something Quakerish, and I really like it. These designs, they're all different enough that you're not like, oh my gosh, I've been working on this tree for forever, it's so boring. Because they're like all different, but they're the same enough that you can sit there, once you get the pattern figured out, you can sit there and cross stitch it while you're watching TV and not have to continually keep looking back at the pattern, because they follow there's an order to them. So I really, really like this. Jordan is an amazing designer, and I'm really loving this design. You're super cute. Really fun. Then, at night, a perfect thing to work on is my Stitcher's Alphabet from Brooke's Books Designs. This is a free chart on her blog. It's an older one. It's from 2006. Yeah, 2006. But it's so stinking cute. And last time I had the A done, almost, I think there was a few little back stitching. I did that, I did the B, and I did the C. Now the B requires some beads, okay? I have the right color beads, but they are the wrong size. I need the little petite beads, and I have regular, and I tried putting them in it, and it completely covers up the stitching. Much like down in here. These beads are too big, and they cover up the stitching. You can't see what that is supposed to even be. For the butterfly, it works, but for this design down here and for the bee, it did not work. So I am going to pull these beads out. I've ordered the correct beads. They're getting sent to my brother, who is, oh my gosh, actually coming to visit in a couple of weeks, and he will, well, it's the beginning of April, and he will bring them with him, and then I will add them in. But the button is from my stash. One of, my probably maybe 1,200 buttons, 1,000 to 1,200 buttons I have. Yeah, so I went through and picked one that I really liked that fit well, put that in there. This is a really, really fun thing to do because I like a lot of handcrafts, handwork, and this is just representative of all of it. Now, obviously I don't knit. I have tried, but I have knitters in my life that I love, and I just love this design. Also, one of the things I did, I'll just point this out with this piece of paper, is yesterday I took over an hour, and I used the stitch calculator from Yarn Tree, and figured out the size that I needed for all these designs. Cut the fabric because I had giant pieces. Cut the fabric and did a little zigzag stitch. I don't have a serger, but the zigzag stitch works just as fine. Yeah, that took a while, but now it's done. And these are much more manageable sizes to work with. But I had to wait until I had enough of the designs finished that I could measure and extrapolate out, okay, yeah, this is actually the size that the stitch calculator says it's going to be, because I don't trust technology. And I was like, what if I cut the fabric and it was wrong? So I had to have enough done that I could measure and oh, it says it's going to be 8.5 inches wide. Yes, this is actually 8.5 inches wide. Okay, I can trust this. I will cut it. I know, a little silly, but there you go. Oh, that's so fun. One of the great projects for working on at night is my Sew Jolly Stitchy Ornaments from Erica Made Designs. I have been, these are perfect to work on in the evening. I can get one whole ornament done in an evening of watching TV, but usually what happened is I started one and a second one, and so every night I get, these are all done, but what happens is I usually finish one and then start the next one. So here's this last one. It's not finished, but that's because I was working on this one, which was not finished, and then when I got it done, I started on this one. And this is on a it's an 18 count opalescent Aida from XU Designs, called Frozen Leaves. Sorry, I didn't mention all the fabrics. Hey, that fell out. Hold on just a second. For example, oh no, that's not. It's another one. I'll get to that. Okay. And then here's the first of the things that happened as to what. So the second thing, actually. The first thing was that I could not stop working on Lola Crow, right? That on the library. Could not stop. The second thing that happened was it was Valentine's Day month. And we celebrate Valentine's Day. So I grew up in a home where my father celebrated Valentine's Day with all his kids. He made sure that every Valentine's Day we got a Valentine from our dad. A little packet of M&Ms, some, a candy bar that was especially wrapped, especially for Valentine's Day. And of course he gave stuff to my mom that was more romantic or whatever. But he always gave us kids a little Valentine. And so I just grew up that Valentine's Day is a day of love. It's not romantic love. It can be, but it's just love. So if you love your friends, if you love your neighbors, if you love your pet, you celebrate Valentine's Day with them. And so I was putting up all my decorations because, one, we want to celebrate, but two, my daughter has also now picked up on this feeling of Valentine's Day does not have to be romantic love. And she invited her 3 best friends from school over for a Galentine's party. And we had a bunch of food for them. They brought some things and I made a bunch of stuff. They played games. They watched 2 rom-coms. It was so fun hearing them laugh and giggle and just have fun. Anyway, so while we had to be sure and get the decorations up. And as I was putting up all the decorations, I have a couple quilts I've made, I have pillows, I've got, cross-stitch items. I realized that I have all my string, my Lizzie Kate strings hanging up on a board that's on a wall near our entrance hall dining room area. And there isn't a Valentine's string from Lizzie Kate. So the snowy string was up there. And it was fine because it's winter, but it didn't match with all the explosion of pink and red that we had going on for Valentine's Day. And I remember a while ago thinking, oh, I want to make my own Valentine's Day string. I'll just use some of the alphabets from because I had almost all the other strings, and I'll just throw some hearts in there. Well, that was way harder to do than I thought. Just even trying to get the first few designs down in my head onto paper, couldn't do it. So I gave it up. But this year, Shannon Christine on her Facebook page, she released several Valentine's Day designs. And they're little and small, but absolutely gorgeous, as is everything that Shannon Christine does. So I decided to put a whole bunch of those in a row and it's the same size as the strings and will fit on that board. And I really wanted to get it done for Valentine's Day. I did not, because these designs are more intricate than I thought. They're small, but girl uses a whole bunch of colors. They're absolutely gorgeous. It was totally worth it. Do it all again. But Aiden, I worked on this for another 4 or 5 days, trying to get it finished before her Valentine's Day party, and it just didn't happen. I had to use some of the designs. These are all free designs. Not all of them are Shannon Christine, because she didn't have quite enough to make it long enough, the same length as the strings that go on the board. So I had to improvise and add a few more. But I used the same colors that were in the Shannon Christine designs. And what makes this even more fun is this fabric. It's a bigger piece. I cut it off and zigzagged it. But this piece I got from my friend Sarah, the rednecked bifocal stitcher, at Stitch West. She had a whole bunch of stuff that she had brought that she was going to give away at the freebie table. And she was like, all right, but I'm going to give you guys at my stitching table first dibs. And she had this fabric that she didn't want anymore. And I was like, yes, please. It is a 32 count linen in the color Oaken from Shepherd's Bush. And I just love the fact that my Love Valentine stitch is on a piece of fabric from Sarah. Because that girl, she's awesome sauce. She's got a Flosstube, and she's, oh my gosh, so good. Her stitching, her projects, wah! But best of all, her personality. Anyway, so I love that. That is a really good start. So that is another reason why I didn't get to all the projects that I wanted to. But again, you will see, I have a lot. Next one up is my Celtic Christmas from Lavender Lace. Last time you saw it, it was just those lines and that very bottom down there of the dress, right? Well, look at her now. I haven't started on the girl yet, but I got a whole bunch done. I'm super happy. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe how gorgeous these colors look on this fabric. I did have to make one change. I had pulled out some DMC Diamant to work on in gold. It was not the called for gold, but I had it, And I was like, oh, diamant is easier to work with than this gold floss. I'll use that. Problem was, it was the exact same color as the gold fibers in this fabric, which means you could not see it. I was not going to put in all that work to have the end effect be something you could not see. No way, no how. So I pulled it out. I had gotten this whole line done, and I had even made a mistake in this line. And so I pulled it all out and was like, well, here's my chance. I can fix the mistake and put a new color in at the same time. And so I chose this much more goldeny. It's the metallic floss that's a pain in the you-know-what to use, but it looks gorgeous, and you can actually see it on this fabric. So that's where we're going with, folks. And I realized I looked at the pattern more closely. Her dress is not that complicated. Her hair is crazy confetti, and like the bottom, all that blah, blah, and the gold filigree, that's crazy. But the dress itself, which is the bulk of the design, and these like all geometric shapes, they're like big blocks of color. That's going to be way less hard than I thought it was, and I thank you to everyone who encouraged me to just do it, because you're right, it's not that hard. Am I going to do memorabilia? I don't know, but as you will see, never say never. Okay, next project. Oh, I didn't even show Lavender and Lace. Yeah. Oh well, Celtic Christmas, I mean. Okay, this is Amelia's cross stitch stash. This is from Durene Jones. And I bought it on her Etsy site. And I got more. So before I had just this, but of the words I just had C and part of R. So I finished all of this. And I made an important decision, people. And I will show you what it is. As I'm stitching on this, and I'm looking at that green, those greens, with the reds and the purples, the more I looked at it, the more I just went, I can't. I'm trying to be open to new colors. I'm trying to trust the designer. I didn't like it at first. It was kind of growing on me, but then it grew away from me. It ran screaming into the night. So I have chosen two new colors. This is a beautiful floss from my friend Francisca, Color Fever, and this is a DMC, and I am going to rip out all that green and replace it with these two colors. But before I started ripping, I didn't want to get depressed, so that's why I went ahead and concentrated on the letters so I could feel like I had gotten some progress before I destroy all my progress. But I am much more at peace with that choice, and I think those two colors look very nice with the red and beautiful with the purple, and do not clash like that green. So most of the time I try to trust the designers, but sometimes you just gotta let yourself do your own thing, huh? All right, next up is Twin Peak Primitives, the Vinox Market, the Christmas market. And again, this was one, I'm just getting bold, people. Flosstube is helping me become this crazy lady, where I just decided I didn't want to do all these houses a different color. Because Christmas markets in Europe, the whole point is all the houses, all the stands are from the city. They all look exactly the same, and they are gaudy to the rooftops with decoration, and Christmas, threw up on them. And I love it. I love every single bit of it. So I changed it and put them all, made them not exactly all the same, but I'm just using the two colors of green rather than all the different colors that they had. And I worked a lot more on the houses. Filled them all in, got all those shutters in, got the window panes. So yeah, I'm very happy with my progress on that. And I'm very happy with my choice of fabric, because it just looks snowy and wonderful and Christmassy. Then, everybody's talking about leap year starts. I'm going to do a leap year start. I'm going to work on it every leap day, every 29th of the month for 4 years, and it'll be done. And I was like, I kind of want to do a leap year start, but I have so much other stuff that I'm working on. And I don't really, I don't know, but I kind of want to. So I looked through my designs, all my patterns, and found this kind of big sampler. And again, I'm not a huge sampler girl because letters like, I mean, I know my alphabet, okay? And I have a whole thing on samplers, and I'm not. If you want to know, ask me in the comments, and I will talk about it next Flosstube. But anyway, but this one I liked because it's not trying to be a copy of somebody else's sampler. It's a new original design, and it's beautiful. And it's called Cherry Garden by Twin Peak Primitives. And I will try to put a picture of that here. But rather than do it on Leap Day, I decided to honor my brother David. I have an older brother who died before I was even born. He was born and died. Only lived 3 days. Okay? Back in the late 60s, they didn't have the kind of medical care we have now. So he was born about 6 weeks premature, and his little lungs were not developed, and he could not breathe. And he sadly passed away after 3 days. And I love talking about him. I love remembering him, honoring him. I believe he is still a part of our family, that I will see him again one day. And I don't want it, I just want to have him be like an actual member of the family. And so I decided to do this on his birthday of February 25th. So I started this on February 25th. And that is my first little peacock. I had lots of time to stitch that day, so I got the whole peacock done. I was very pleased with that. Well, there's a little bit of brown in there. I still need some darker brown, but still got it really, he's mostly done. And then I will stitch on this every 25th of the month. It's already in my calendar on my phone to remind me to stitch on this the 25th of every month. And hopefully by the next leap year in 4 years, I will have it finished, because it's a pretty big sampler, and there's quite a lot going on. But yeah, very, very happy with that. And happy to kind of participate, but in my own way. I don't have to do it exactly on that day. Oh, hold on. But it needed its own new bag. So even though I made all those other bags, I had found these leftover quilt blocks, and so I made another bag because it deserves to live in a place of honor. So that was also something I took time out to do, was sew another bag. Okay. Second to last project I worked on this month was Magical Signpost by Cross Stitch For You. Now, in this pattern, you can see there's like those little tiny crosses in the sky. I don't know if they're supposed to be raindrops or magical fairy dust or what, but I have decided to leave those off because it does not really do a whole lot for the design and looks like it's just going to be a whole bunch of work and a big hassle. So, no. So I left them off. So last time you saw it, I had just the top of the lamppost and this first signpost with Narnia written in it. So I did 2 more signposts, did the names of Hogwarts and Neverland. I got Hedwig on there, and I got a really good start on that dragon. He's almost done, but not quite. And this fabric I discovered when I was looking at it, counting the stitches to figure out on the stitch calculator how big of a piece of fabric I needed. Because I dyed this myself, it ended up being a 38 count. And I'm doing 2/2. And so it's pretty tiny, and it is not a do it while you watch TV project, because the fabric is dark, those stitches are really close together, and yeah, no. But I'm making good progress on that. Then the last project I touched this month was I Solemnly Swear by Piccola Parigi Designs. That's what it's going to look like when it's all finished. And this is what I've got done. Now, it looks almost, I know, the same as last time. But I did a whole bunch of The lighter colored stitching all over in here I did. There's little bits of some darker stitching. I filled in the rest of the letters. There were a few letters that were not done. And I've started filling in a whole bunch of white in that background of the banner. This is kind of fiddly because it has a lot of, a stitch here, a stitch there of the different colors. But the overall design I really, really, really like. And so it's worth it. It's worth it to me. And this is a 28 count linen. And so it's nice and easy to stitch on. So even though it's fiddly, it's not on a smaller count, and I'm really happy and pleased with myself that I made a good choice. I was kind to myself choosing this fabric. So there is that. And then I did something kind of crazy. Something that I swore I would never do. Something that after I had done it caused my hands to literally shake like this for a while. And I almost thought I was going to throw up. Do you want to know what it is? Yeah, I bought my first full coverage. I really wasn't gonna. But I was watching a new Flosstuber, and I will put her down below because I cannot think of her name right now. She's only come out with 2 Flosstubes. And, but she's just, I love all her projects. And she showed this one, and I went, oh my gosh. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And my oldest son, who is a lover of all things Tolkien, I mean, not only has he read all of the Silmarillion, yeah, I can't say it, but he can. He's read all Herr der Ringe, of the Lord of the Rings. He read The Hobbit. He's read all the Middle Earth books that have come out. He's read all the extra books that Tolkien's son, Christopher, published based on all the notes he found of his dad's. He has read every single one. He knows those books and that story and that lore better than the back of his own hand, I think, because he pays more attention to them than his hand. I mean, he just loves them. And he loves art. He loves art. He's not very good at it. None of us are. But we all appreciate it. So this, Van Gogh and the Fellowship, I mean, and he's graduating with his master's degree and teaching certificate in about 1.5 to 2 years. And so I showed it to my husband, and I was like, I need to get this for Nick. This needs to be his present when he graduates. And he was like, okay. So I've already ordered the fabric. I'm going to do it on 18 count. I thought about the 25, but that seemed, for my only ever that I'm ever going to do in my whole life full coverage project, 25 count 1/1 seemed a little crazy. I wanted to be actually to get it done and to somewhat enjoy it while I was working on it. So I did the 18 count. I've ordered that from 123 Stitch. That'll be coming. And they had 2 patterns. They had a 200 by 200 stitches, smaller version. And then they had the XL, which is 500 by 500. But here's the thing. I was worried that the 200 by 200, although more durable, wouldn't have as much detail. And I didn't want to invest and take all this time to make something that didn't look freaking awesome at the end. So I went ahead and bought the XL version. I've got an old tablet of my husband's that we're going to load Pattern Maker onto. Because I already know from watching all these other people who do full coverage that the only way to do full coverage is with Pattern Keeper, or Pattern Maker, Pattern Keeper, whatever it is, digital pattern, where you can mark off what you've done. I'm ordering a cone of DMC 939 from someplace in China because DMC doesn't actually have an official cone, but I've found out from another lady who bought one here in Germany. It's cotton thread, good quality. She's had no problems with it. So I was like, okay, because I need something like 293 meters of of floss in this one color. And I was like, that's like 30 skeins, 35 skeins. That's banana pants. I can't even order that many on 123 Stitch. It won't let you. I tried. I typed it in. It wouldn't let me. So I'm ordering a cone from China. So we'll hope that that gets here and it's good and doesn't bleed. And then I will get started. And that is why I cannot do a Lola Crow under the C-stitch along or anything else that looks super awesome and fun, because as soon as that project gets here, I need to start working on that several times a month so that it can, I don't honestly think it will get finished by the time he graduates. I've seen how long it takes other people to do full coverages, but I want it to have a really good start so that it looks like I want to have made some serious headway, so it's like feasible that he will get it in the 2020s, okay, not 2030. So yeah, and so that I have something to show him when he graduates. So yeah, I cannot believe I'm doing that. If any of you have any advice, Shauna gave me some, my excellent friend Shauna gave me some really good advice of just think of it as one stitch at a time so you don't get overwhelmed. It's just like eating an elephant from Shel Silverstein, right? One bite at a time, one stitch at a time. But I want to watch some YouTube videos on like the Royal Rose method, and there's all these kind of, I've heard people use these terms all the time in their Flosstube. No idea. Somebody, one of my other friends, Claire from Flosschronicles, was like, are you going to do 10 stitch? And I was like, on 18 count, I don't know. I want the coverage to be really, really good. So I think I'm probably going to do full cross. Just because like even on my 38 count, I'm using 2 strands of floss, and because I like thick full coverage. So I will probably go ahead and do 2 strands and a full X. But if you have any other tips or tricks or things you can point me to for tips, good tutorials that you have used in your full coverage, I am so open to that. Please send me all the knowledge. But yeah, here I thought I would never do full coverage, and now I've bought one. So that's why I can't say, oh, I'll never do a Mirabilia, because girl, who knows? Who knows? I might discover that I love full coverage. I hope I don't. I hope I don't, because it's freaking expensive. The fabric alone for one project was $40. Now, I don't buy a lot of hand-dyed fabric. I dye my own. I buy it straight from the Zweigart factory outlet. Like, I don't spend a lot of money on fabric, one piece of fabric for a project. So that kind of, whoo, and then all that floss. So much floss. But it's going to be awesome. And I just have to, because that fabric, that pattern is just so beautiful. So, that is it for me, I think. Oh, I did want to mention, if any of my English viewing awesome people live in Europe, really quick, I am not going to be at Stitch Basel Light in September. Dawn is organizing that all by herself, and the date that I've discovered the date the same time you guys did when she made it public, and that's my son's birthday weekend. We're going out of town. I already promised him a trip anywhere in Europe he wants to go for his birthday. He's thinking about it. Prague is high on the list because he loves Kafka, and there's a Kafka museum there. He likes to eat weird food that nobody else in the family but me likes to eat with him. And so that's why he and I are just going to take a long weekend, and it happens to be that weekend. So I will not be at Stitch Basel Light. I am also not going to be organizing or have anything organizational part to do with Stitch Basel 2025. I am planning to come. Hopefully it will not be on my son's birthday weekend again. But I am planning to come to that. I'm very sad about having to miss Stitch Basel Light, but I'd already talked to him about this trip before that got announced. So, yeah, that's too bad. But I am coming, and I will be a happy attendee, and so I will hope to see everybody again. But yeah, just in case, just so there's no confusion, not that I think that I'm super awesome or wonderful or anything, because I'm not important to the the event being good or not. I just was associated with the previous one. So to clear up any misunderstanding or confusion, I am not involved with this one, and I sadly won't be there at a Stitch Puzzle Light. So there's that. My brother is coming at the beginning of April, so I will be sure and be back here before then at the end of March. I'm super happy. I'm loving this system. Like I said, I don't know if I will continue it for every year, but this year it's kind of fun. Where I'm going to fit in that full coverage, I don't know. But you know what? That's future Amy's problem. Right now, Amy is very happy with her cross-stitch life, and that's all that matters. So yeah, take care, everyone. Thank you for my new subscribers. Thank you so very much for my loyal subscribers and the beautiful women who always leave awesome comments. Mwah! You guys are the best. All right, see you in a month. Bye.